Aloha, friends. Today's topic: meeting your spirit animal. So I just recently did a shamanic journey with Danny Shea, and I think I did two of them, uh, which I think if it's something that you can do and you have the time, I think it's every Saturday, usually around 9 a.m. Pacific time. Maybe it's something you should consider doing. He's very good. um, he's very good at it. Leading journeys and taking people on journeys, guided meditations or whatever you want to call it. I guess it might be appropriate to say in a shamanic style. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but I think that's um, in the style that he does it. You know, like everybody else, he talks through the meditation to guide you and lead you on a journey. He also does like some drumming in the background. It's not like heavy or anything, but I think it helps to set the mood or intention that he's wanting to set. I'm not too sure, but very good. He's very good at what he does. So I'd recommend if you have the chance, look into it. I don't know how. Um, Maybe you have to email him to get onto his mailing list to receive the invite. There's a few people in our community that already are a part of it. Um, so maybe ask around if you can't get a hold of Danny Shea for some reason. But yeah, I recently did a couple of his journeys, and it was about, well, I don't want to say it was only about, but part of it is, I guess, meeting your spirit animal. And so, I've done these meditations in the past, even as a child. I remember a guided meditation to meet um, your spirit animal. And it's cool. It's a nice little journey. And then you learn a little something about like who's there, what animal is there with you, or what have you. Um, but it's interesting because I know like spirit animals don't change, or they do change rather over time, just because you have uh, you know, a hippopotamus one time, maybe the next time you have a kangaroo or a butterfly, or it's not always the same, but I think over time, or you know maybe the next time you do one, it's going to be different. So if um it's just interesting. It's interesting how they evolve, I guess, based off of you. And so well, that's the way I understood it, right? Is that it's not always the same. It can be, but it's not always the same animal. Um, so when I took the journey, this last one, I didn't know what to expect because every time well, not every time, but I've gotten a few different animals over time, um, and so um, I did the journey, and then I think last. It was the first journey with Danny. I got a sea turtle, and then this time I got an elephant, and that's not uncommon. I've seen elephants before in my meditations. Um, and it's always where I'm like looking eye to eye, and that's another thing. But I won't go down that rabbit hole. Not on this one. I'll try to stay focused. Try. Um, so this time it was an elephant, and then so I started to think about it, um, because I've gotten an elephant before, and then I looked into the eye of the elephant, and this time I decided to ask why. Why do I look inside the eye of an animal? And it happens for me a lot, maybe in the last 6 months, where when I meditate, I will see an eye, one eye of whatever. It could be a person, an animal, or sometimes I just see an eye. But then I'll look like into it, and not I don't look at it, I look into the eye. But it never goes further than that. And then in the first meeting, I talked to Danny about it, or I brought it up in the group session, and I was like, "Oh, this happens to me when I do these kinds of meditation. Well, actually, it's almost any kind of meditation where I'm looking into the eye of something. And this time it was, at first it was the eye of a snake, and then eventually, it the snake changed, or the snake led me to the sea turtle. And then Danny said something that was very interesting. Well, not interesting, but it helped a lot. He said, "I could tell you why. Like, I could give you an answer, but it's not to say that it's your answer." It just hit me like, wow. That the message that he delivered um it was so profound in the moment, because it's like you're always trying to find your truth. But then we're always looking outside of ourselves to find our truth. Um and I guess it's almost like, wow, I'm diving off the rails again. But um it's like we've been conditioned to do this, to look outward and upward. Upward meaning, like, you're a little child and you look up to your parents to guide you, and then it becomes your family to help you understand the world or things or whatever, and then it becomes your teachers, and they're always over you, like, literally and figuratively, right? They're taller, they're bigger, they're older, so you're always looking up to them, right? And then I noticed, like, uh, um, with, like, you know, um, my friends, well, like Debbie and Kevin and Jeffrey, even JJ and Terry, Alice, Kim Copeland, I look up to these people instead of looking to them or at them. I guess I could say I put them on a pedestal, right? Or I did. And so, um, part of my journey at Sedona was realizing we're all equal. They're all the same. Um, they might have, another ability or something that, I look to as being special or different. And, um, but they're no different than any of us, right? Um, and so, um, you look to them to find your truth. And so when I asked the question, I was doing the same thing. I was asking to understand why. And then when Danny said, I can give you an answer, but is it going to be your answer? Is it going to be your truth? And I was like, wow, that's a great reminder. Like, everything lies within. And so somebody else's truth is not going to be yours, or it's not going to make sense to you because it's through their optics, their lens, through their experiences, their biases, you know, uh, their indifferences, their prejudice, like everything is sculpted around or formulated around what they've gone through and not what I've gone through. And so, their definition is not going to be the same as mine because our experiences and our paths are completely different. And so his recommendation was, I'm not going to give you an answer. I will just tell you to ask for an answer. And I was like, wow, okay. So I was just so excited. It's like the next time, the next time. And so this time I actually remembered to do it. And, so I asked, why I asked the elephant when I was looking into the eye of the elephant. And once, you know, I couldn't see any further, then the answer that I heard was, you're looking into our soul, into our aspect. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense, right? Because every animal is different and they always represent something different. And so I was like, wow, okay, that's cool. Um, so then the next answer that I got was, um, we are all one in the same. And right away I took the understanding that, um, well, the answer was, we are all one in the same. We what was it? I think I wrote it down. Well, I'm not going to be able to read. My handwriting's terrible. But after after I got that message, I took it as we are just, um, we're just one, meaning like there's not a collection of animals. It's just one animal or one being. And then, because the next message that I got was, um, our costume changes. Uh, what was it? Our costume changes, and it was depending on the aspect that you need in the moment. And so that's when it hit me. I'm like, oh wow, okay. So really, it's what we're dealing. And so this is just my experience from my perspective. I could be completely off base or just flat out wrong, and if I am, please let me know in the comments. But the message that I received was that, we're all one and the same, um, and our costume changes depending on the aspect uh, that you need for that experience in the moment. And so that kind of like spun me out when I got that, in the sense that like pretty much the journey ended for me, even though there was a lot of time left in the session, because I just started, like my mind was spinning, um, and I was thinking, wow, so like uh, every time I got a different, like, is that true? That there's only one spirit? Like, what if that's true? There's only one spirit, um, but its shapes, or the shape of that spirit changes depending on what you need for your experience. Or what if there's only one angel, right? So this is probably where I'll get crushed. But like, what if there's only one angel? So we know like Saint Germain, uh, Archangel Michael, Raphael, and I don't know, whoever else there is, right? All those other, there's like tons of them. But what if there's really only one? It's just one spirit, one energy, but we, um, over time have put definitions or labels on a name, and so that name represents something to us. So, like, I don't know, Archangel Michael is like the protector or something. I don't know. I don't understand it. But he represents one thing, and then Saint Germain represents the purple violet flame or something like that. Um, but I think you get what I'm trying to articulate. Is like, we call on these angels, and we have I don't want to say kinship, but we have a bond or something, or it resonates with us because that's the aspect that we need or that we want for whatever experience or whatever the moment is. So, I guess like that's my big spin out, was like, what if there's only one spirit, maybe one animal, um and then the animal changes its shell or its costume depending on what we need in that moment. And maybe sometimes it's constant, like you always see the bear because you haven't moved on yet. You haven't evolved uh, from that experience or that energy that the bear represents to you, or like the wolf or the hippopotamus, or the sea turtle. um, I thought it was interesting. Um, Something that made me think a lot and for a long time, even though it just happened a couple days ago. It's interesting. But yeah, and then the same thing. So then I applied that same thought process to angels and guides. And like I said, I know this is where everybody's gonna crush me, but that's okay. It's just all about education and understanding, right? And so if I have to, expose myself, or I'm willing to do it for the sake of evolution, like my personal growth, or and if it helps somebody else, then that's cool too. Um, but yeah, like angels, what if there's only one? Guides, um, what if there's only one? Maybe we see multiple, um, but what if there really was only one guide, and that guide had wore a different hat or a different jacket or changed genders depending on what you needed, because I think our guides represent something, like, individually. And so, um yeah, maybe that energy is just an energy of one that fractures or splinters, like, I guess the five faces of Shiva, how Shiva has like five entities or something. um I don't know. I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. But yeah, now I'm starting to think like, wow, I maybe we only have one animal. Maybe there really is only one animal, and it's just the reflection changes based of based off of our needs at that moment. Let me know what you think. Even if you think I'm crazy or off my rocker or I hit my head somewhere, that's cool too. But yeah, I'll stop here. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one.